Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege and honor for me to be able to welcome you back to the second half of Day 3 of the Berlin Economic Forum 2019. Particularly honored to have the chance now to introduce someone I'd like to consider a good friend already over the past years and a good partner of the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy, His Excellency Ambassador Sheikh Saoud bin Abdulrahman Al Thani. Ambassador Sheikh Saoud bin Abdulrahman Al Thani is the ambassador of the state of Qatar in Germany. He's also a sports administrator and member of the ruling family of Qatar. He's currently ambassador of Qatar to Germany. Earlier, he completed an undergraduate degree in electrical engineering in New Mexico State University in 1993, before going on to gain a master's degree in sports management from the University of Lyon. He served in the Qatar Armed Forces before becoming involved in national level sports administration positions. His first major organizational projects came as Director General of the committees of the 2004 Gulf Cup of Nations and the 2005 West Asian Games, as well as being a committee member from the 2006 Asian Games. He became the Secretary General of the Qatar Olympic Committee, President of the Qatar Basketball Federation, and Vice President of the International Fencing Federation. And one of the interests he and I share together is also this aspect of sports as cultural diplomacy. I think we both fully believe sports has an amazing potential to bring together groups from all over the world, every religion, every faith, every ethnicity. And it's wonderful to have the ambassador here, someone who's really seen this from the inside. We had such extensive experience, not only in diplomacy, but also in sports. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you again all for coming. I'd like to ask you all to please join in a very warm welcome for His Excellency Ambassador Sheikh Saoud bin Abdulrahman Al Thani. Thank you.
Thank you. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, before I begin, I would like to show you a video that will maybe summarize a little bit of what I will say. But before I show the video, bear with me with 1 second, I think I would like to say something very important today, because today is the Women's Day. And we thank all the ladies who are with us here, although it's like a vacation, I think, here in Berlin, which you know, in Qatar we don't have a vacation for the Women's Days. Also, I called my colleagues in Bonn, they do not have a vacation, so in Berlin we are very lucky here. But I want to say, I think women plays major roles in all societies. In Qatar, we have 2 ministers already. One of them Minister of IT, the other is a Minister of Communication, the other is Minister of Health, and also our spokesperson of the Qatar Foreign Ministry is a lady. And you can see also from my degree, I nothing to do with politics. I am electrical engineering plus, served in the military, but then as a sport administration. But I think both help to be a diplomat with my colleagues if we understand each other at this point. But what I would like to say, just to give a small recognition and thank you to all the women in the society, I would like to present a small gift to each one of the ladies. The men, excuse me, I think this day is special for them. So I want to give each lady a flower today for being with us here and also representing, the society and also contributing to all society for all around the world. So please. And while they are distributing the flower to only the women or the ladies, we would like to show the video. We can start the video, and then I will continue my speech. Please. Okay. You can go ahead now. The video, please.
Qatar, a futuristic country, peeking into the future through this window. Today, we bring Qatar, the Arabian Gulf Peninsula country, into the frame. Qatar is a country where history is adorned in modernity. As one of the world's richest countries in terms of GDP per capita, Qatar is the land where humans come first. a country where life is celebrated. The sentiment is resonating to overwhelm visitors. Warmth, hospitality, and amity are prevailing.
Well, thank you. And I would like first, before I begin my speech to be here to thank Mark, my dear friend Mark. We did a lot together with ICD, with our the Arabic Culture House, which really appreciated. And I would like to thank also the team of the ICD for putting really a great event. So thank you very much. And I think, to give me the time to exchange ideas and to present the economic situation and investment opportunity in the state of Qatar, and most importantly, Qatar Vision 2030, as we just have seen, which I can say it's based into 4 pillars. This is when the government decided in 2007 that we would like to put a roadmap for our country. So we put the vision, because we are really a country which is, since more than 50 years, based on their economy in the oil and the gas. But all of us knows that these will be in one day already finished. So the government says we would like to make sure that we have, as in the title, a sustainable business and economic development for the country, that for our future generation they will witness the similar what we are witnessing in our country in Qatar. So in 2007, 2008, the government put the Vision 2030, which based into 4 pillars: economic, social, human development, and environmental and development. And since we're speaking here about economy and economic development investment, so I will concentrate into this part. So it's based into, again, the economic and investment based into 2 pillars. One of them is transforming itself into a knowledge-based economy, means that we will concentrate into education, research, as we have seen that the government put 2.7% of the GDP in research, such as now, as well known as the AI, which the artificial intelligence and the digitalization, which Germany also do, and they put in their plan. So this is one of the things that the government is putting within its base for the 2030 vision. The second thing is really investing whatever extra income that we are getting to a promising or a strong economy, such as in Germany. In Germany, we have already around 25 billion euro investment into the big companies here in Germany. Just to give you a glance, we have about 17% Qatar own of Volkswagen. Siemens, we own about 7 to 10%. Also in Deutsche Bank and Hobocloyd, Hobocleave, and other companies, big companies here in Germany. Because we believed in German economy, that's why the government 20 years ago, they decide in 2006, 2007 to invest into the German economy, but not only in Germany, we look into everywhere. Even in Asia, in Africa, in other countries in Europe, and also in America. And the idea is, the goal which we put, and that's very important, that we say that our government put a goal by 2030, whatever income that Qatar is getting from oil and gas, for example, gas, Qatar is the largest, explorer or exporter of LNG. LNG, does anyone knows what is LNG? Anyone in gas?
Liquid?
Yes, liquid to natural gas. So the idea is what we do in Qatar, this is a new terminology, came only in 94 or 95. Before, everybody were exporting gas through pipeline, but not through transferring the gas to liquid, and then you ship it through the ship, and then later on you export it to anywhere. And this is what Qatar have done by having this idea, and now we became #1 in the world in exporting the LNG, which we have already 77 million ton of LNG. Even in Germany, we are exporting to Germany, but now we are again working with the German government to export more through the new idea of diversifying their income, or their importation of gas, because most of the gas coming to Germany is coming really from Russia. Now they are looking to other part, and one of the discussion that we are having with the German government in this regard. Just then saying this means, again, I want to say by 2030 the government says whatever from the investment we're having abroad, we would like to have similarity to the income that we are getting from oil and gas. And this is to make sure that after 2030, this will increase. That means for our future generation, they will witness the same, quality of economy that we have in Qatar. I would try to skip some of the point here just to give you more time later on for Q&A, which I think could be maybe in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Of course, the government have made also attraction for investment from outside. So we did a lot of changes in our procedures to attract more foreign investment into Qatar, by giving them 100% ownership, by giving them a very cheap price in terms of landing the land itself. The tax rate are very minimal, and a lot of attraction, because also we created some in the last 2 years something called the free zone, which is already well known in some other area of the world. And also we try to make the infrastructure ready for them. So we have one of the largest port now in the Middle East, which is Hamad Port. Plus we have one of the largest Hamad airport. Anybody fly with Qatar Airways? Anybody? Good. So we have some customers here. It's very good. And just we have a good news that we're going to increase our trip to Berlin. It will be double daily. Now it's one time, but we will. We fly to Germany about 35 flights per week. 35. We fly to Munich and double daily, to Frankfurt double daily, in Berlin one time, but we will make it also double daily. But now the good news, starting from 2020, we already signed with the EU that we will have open, what they call open sky, that we will have unlimited number of Qatar Airways stop by. So we will have also to Düsseldorf, hopefully to Bonn, and also to Hamburg. This is our target in the coming month and coming years, inshallah, because we believe in the German market and the German also attractions for the tourists, because the German like also hopefully also to go to Uzbekistan. They love I think last year we got increase from the tourists to coming to Qatar, especially through the cruise line, which was really something that we were very happy working with a different companies such as TUI and FTI and other company who are in charge of the tourists here in Germany. So as I said, we made more attractions for the foreign investor. We tell them that you can have Qatar as a hub for the Middle East because of the location. Have you seen in the video? We are very close by. To Iraq, we are very close. We signed already a free trade treaty with Iraq, so company can enjoy the relationship that we already exist between Qatar and Iraq. And Iraq now is really booming also. As Qatar we have seen booming, I think what is needed in Iraq now more even what is needed in Qatar. So we say to the company they can come also, open their headquarters in Qatar, and then they can exchange also with Iraq and other. Of course, the gross domestic product, just to tell you how strong is the economy in Qatar. We in 2018 our GDP, it was I want just to give you the correct number. I'm trying just to look at it. Okay, the GDP reached about $222 billion in 2018, and we are expecting a growth of 2.7 in 2019, which this will lead us to around $232 billion, the total GDP in Qatar in 2019. Although we had also some other issues with our neighbor. I think always when you have your neighbor, sometimes jealousy is there. So we got some issues with our neighbor, but we always see, and this is also advice to all of you, I think, if you have some crisis, you can transfer it to become something really very positive to you. So this is what we did in Qatar. we transfer this to become very positive. We depend more within our internal production. So we, just to give you one example, in dairy product, we were importing 80% from outside, especially from our neighbor, and we're producing only 20%. Now we are producing around 90% in the last 2 years, and I think by end of this year we will start even exporting. So this is for what they call the one we had before. Just saying also something which regarding, since we are now during the ITB, so Qatar have since almost 1 year have eliminated visa requirement for about 80 citizenship. So you can go directly to the Doha port, airport, and you can get to the country with, and anybody want to look at it is in the website of our embassy, but also the website of our foreign ministry and also tourist board. So it shows you which countries, but more around 80 countries, and this will increase also in the coming month and coming years. So this is because Qatar is also trying to increase the attraction for the tourists, and just to tell you one highlight here, Qatar plans to increase the number of hotel rooms from about 30,000 hotel rooms now existing to 50,000 in 2022, in addition to around 45,000 temporary rooms, which will be with a cruise line ship. This is the requirement from the FIFA. The FIFA require around, for the World Cup 2022, around 95,000. So this is how we met the FIFA requirement. And the investment in the tourism sector has reached almost 17 billion US dollar in the last years, and also in the coming years. Of course, in the preparation for 2022 World Cup, the government of State Qatar plans to spend about more than $200 billion, which started already since maybe 2016, but this will the peak, and it will finish by 2022. And just to give you an example, I mean, I don't want to go more in detail in that, but just to give you an example, why Qatar, since we put a vision in 2007, and then we said we want to reach this vision by 2030. Why we are hosting big event? The sport event, and thanks to Mark, he highlighted that I was in the sport for some years. So the idea behind hosting big event is really use the event as a motor to speed up your goals or your objectives. Because in a sport, there is always a great saying. It says you can move a mountain, but you cannot change the day of the opening ceremony. So now, since many years, now we know that the opening ceremony of the World Cup FIFA 2022, it will be 21st of November 2022. So it means all the project has to be finished before that, because you cannot invite the guests to your house and your house is not ready. So you need to really make sure that you prepare everything. And also the ministers who are sleeping, sometimes we have some ministers are, they have, the files in their table, but always they will complain. We don't have budget. This is not anymore exist, because you have already like a team working around all the projects necessary for the World Cup. So to make sure that anybody have some obstacles, they will have to go to this committee to finish it. So the railway, just to give you an example, which we have a German company who done for us the planning and also the digging for all of our underground, supposed to finish by 2021. It finished next month. We're going to open it. Most of the stadium, we have already opened 1 and 2 will be finished this year. Also the hotel infrastructure and all other element of infrastructure already is already under the way, and all are ahead of schedule. So that's why we always try to use some events, such as the big events, such as the sport event, to speed up the process. And this is not something that Qatar invented. This is many countries, even when they bid for the Olympic Games, the idea really is to upgrade all what they have in their country. Because when you are hosting a sport event, you are not really only testing the sport venue, but you are testing the whole country. So that's the main point. If people will raise a question, why Qatar is bidding for big event. Even this year, we're going to have the World Championship actually for athletic. So everybody is invited who is interested of athletic. I saw that the ICD team looking for their watch, so I will try to close up very soon. So Qatar Airways, as I just highlighted very quickly, they fly currently to 173 destinations. By 2022, they will reach 200 destinations. Our airport, last year, they crossed 37 million passengers. Imagine Qatar. Here, I think this presentation was a little bit old. Now we are around 3 million. So imagine is almost more than 10 times the population of Qatar across the Hamad airport. So, but by 2022, we will have around 50 million passengers that will be crossing of Hamad airport in 2022. As I just highlighted, the economic indicator that shows the GDP of Qatar is really increasing, and thanks to all the plan that we already have. And I just want to just say one thing also regarding also the investment opportunity. We announced that by 2023, and I will close up by this, by 2023, we will increase our investment opportunity from our investment here in Germany from 25 billion euro, which currently we have, to 35 billion euro. This 10 billion euro, which we already now processing, it will go to the small to the medium enterprise here in Germany, which they call them the Mittelstand. Mittelstand here in Germany, in English, is like we say the backbone. So it really is the backbone of the German economy, which represent around 80%. So Qatar decide in the last 6 months that we will invest another 10 billion euro in the coming 5 years, but we will concentrate this time not only in the big company as I indicated earlier, but we will concentrate into the Mittelstand or the small to medium enterprise. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your kind attention, and I hope I have given you a little bit of a glimpse of the Qatar investment and economy, and also sustainable economy, and I'm open to any question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And I think the strength and the dynamic energy of your speech is very symbolic of the strength and vitality of the developments in Qatar. So it was really a very insightful speech, and we learned a lot. Maybe I'll break the rules and give my colleague a chance first to ask a question in the back, and then we'll come to the participants.
As you know, we talked before time ago, since we were related to sports and diplomacy and politics, you know. You remember when I told you that
yes.
I am a relative of Samarang? So,
yes.
Yeah, I am fascinated for one question. You know, I am happy regarding all the the controversy that when Qatar was announced. I am happy that at least every continent, every country had the chance to organize something like that. You know, always it has been the same countries and the same continent. But regarding what happened, for example, in Brazil and other places, taking an example, for example, when we organized in Barcelona the Olympics. Which kind of plans regarding infrastructure, do you have? Which plans for the future do you have for the infrastructure after the World Cup? Because, for example, in Brazil, some of the hotels, some of the stadiums are like, and even in Pekin, they are abandoned. Do you have any plans for the future to recycle them, to use them somehow?
Thank you very much. And I guess since you are relative to Samaranch, so you support Barcelona. So congratulations in advance. I support Real Madrid, but unfortunately, Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain did not do well this time. But I'm behind now Bayern Munich and of course Barcelona. They are playing actually in the 13th against Liverpool. Who's with Bayern Munich? Anybody supporting Bayern Munich? No, huh? Okay, at least we got 3. Okay, it's a very good question. This is something very important in sport, which are the legacy behind any event. Because there is a lot of not good experience. Montreal in 1978, Athens in 2004, and some others, which they had what they call the big or the white elephant. After the event, then you are having the stadium or the facility with nothing to do about. So Qatar put this in mind from the beginning. So what we say we begin with the end in our mind. So each of these stadiums have already a legacy mode, means what will be after the game. Like, just to give you an example, about 4 of the stadium, because of the requirement of the FIFA, we make them 45,000. But for Qatar, as you have seen, we are 3 million. We will not need this stadium with this capacity. All of these stadiums, the one which I mentioned, 4 of them or 5, are going to clubs already, because the club had a stadium but was like 50, 60 years old. So now these either demolished or renovated or was expanded. So all of these 4 stadiums I mentioned, it will be lower graded or downgraded from 45 to 20,000. So that's one. And the seats will be donated to other country. And we did this in the past. Personally, I was involved in one of them. We did it to Asmara Stadium. Anybody from Eritrea here? No one? Asmara Stadium, the main stadium, we did a renovation for it. And all the seats, if you see it now in Asmara, it's all from a past stadium in Qatar. So this is one example. Other example, one of the stadium completely, and this is for the first time, will be donated with coordination with FIFA to one country. And in addition to that, as you said, we have now 30,000 room hotel, it will be 50. So the government is giving so much attention in the last 5 years and in the coming 4 years to have a plan for touristic destination, to make Qatar as a hub. And since we have already 37 million customers going across Hamad airport, and we will reach 50. So if you get only 4% of them, it will be more than enough. So that's the plan now. That's why we made 80 citizens without visa. So there is already a plan going on, and this is, I think Barcelona is a good example. In '93, when Samaranch had the idea to bring the Olympic Games to Barcelona, if you are from there, you are young now, but the people who were, how Barcelona was there before and how it is. 100% transfer Barcelona to be really a touristic destination after the 1993. So we take a good model like Barcelona. I don't want to name others, but not like other not good models. Please.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I want to ask about, do you have any plan for sign any trade, business trade with Afghanistan government?
Very good question. Okay, with Afghanistan government, for us, and since we don't have media, Mark, we don't have media here, huh? Okay, good. With Afghanistan, we have a very good relationship. And even we got a request to open our embassy in Afghanistan, and even to open our airline. So we already agreed. And even we sent our agreement to our brothers in Afghanistan. This was almost more than 1 year.